Hello and good morning, welcome back. My name is Alicia and this is a little bit different. I don't normally sit down on a couch or do this kind of stuff in my videos, and that is because I'm trying something a little different today. I'm going to sit down and chat to you guys because I thought that it's different here in New Zealand because we live in the southern hemisphere, so our seasons are opposite, right? So we celebrate Christmas in summer. And Christmas just been, I was like, well, it would be a perfect opportunity to be like, let's tell you what I do or we do in New Zealand to celebrate Christmas, because it's not a white Christmas. So that is the plan for today. I hope you enjoy, and if it's not your kind of video, just keep going, keep scrolling. Anyway, let's get into it. How do we celebrate, or how do you celebrate Christmas in summertime? Now, to get started, it really depends where you're from. So New Zealand, Australia, South Africa and some other places that are in the southern hemisphere also celebrate Christmas in summertime, and depending on where you live depends how you celebrate it. I will say that New Zealand and Australia probably celebrate Christmas quite similarly, but there might be some differences. Now that we've got that out of the way, we're going to approach the subject of Santa, the guy in the big red suit. Well, in New Zealand, because it's summertime, and to make it slightly more believable, or as years have gone on to like adapt to the summer, we now depicture Santa in like board shorts, or sometimes in advertising you'll see him on a surfboard or at the beach having a beer, like in his swimmers and big belly and that sort of stuff. So like, as to kind of fit with the climate and people being questioning like, oh, why wouldn't Santa be hot in that big red coat? Well, not all of our Santas, or the graphics of Santas, are pictured in that way. So I find that quite cool and entertaining, like just from a marketing perspective, that sometimes, but it happens all across the world. Like sometimes you'll see Santa going across the Harbour Bridge or the Sydney Bridge or bridges in America on his sleigh. Like they change it by location or setting or environment, so that I find cool. Now, Santa at the beach and in swimmers actually leads me to my next point, which is Kiwi summer and Australian summer is spent at the beach. Like in New Zealand and kind of in Australia, because in Australia they just mostly live around the edges, so wherever you are, you're probably only 20 minutes to half an hour away from a beach. So that's where the Kiwis go, and it's insane. Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Day, you just see the beach, like the strips of beach, lined with gazebos and people having barbecues and sausages. It's just a time where families come together. You can play by the water when you get hot, a ton of sunscreen because it is very easy to get burnt here. It's a good time, but it's different. Like in America you have to stay inside, right, in most places, or some places it's snowing or it's freezing, you need a coat. Here we're just like chilling at the beach. If you've got water toys, people usually use their water toys that they open Christmas morning, or if you get a jet skis and boats and tow toys and all of this sort of stuff, that's what people spend their Christmas Day doing, but they spend it with their family and or friends. This might seem a little strange to people, but they stay all day long. Some people will be setting up their gazebos at the beach at 9 a.m. and then they won't leave until like dinner time. And they have big feasts like ham rolls and you name it, they probably have it. I don't know, it's what happens here in Christmas time. Now, most families actually bring their own barbecues to the beach as well. So they'll bring like the little portable ones or a little Weber grill, which kind of looks like this if you don't know what it looks like. Sometimes they bring those, or sometimes they have big like smoker type barbecues that they bring and they prop up on tables, and there's fold out tables and fold out camping chairs. Like, if you don't like big crowds of people, avoid the beach on Christmas Day. That moves me into my next topic though, which is food, and this varies heavily by family and by your likes, dislikes, what you've grown up having, but generally speaking it's barbecue food, so sausages. Generally there's a ham. So my family of 5, including Connor, this year had, half a leg of ham. Generally in the store you can buy a pretty much cooked ham. You just remove the fat, remove the skin, slice it. It's really gross, but I didn't eat it, but I do know how to cook one. And then they glaze it in like a marmalade and orange juice glaze, and then just warm it up in the oven for like 40 minutes. And then that is the main part of Christmas. We do Christmas lunch, but different people do Christmas lunch, Christmas dinner, Christmas breakfast. Yeah, and then lots of salads, sometimes bread rolls, chicken skewers can be, roast chicken sometimes. Like, it entirely depends on your family and your preferences. But yeah, I mean, it's summertime, so you don't want to be eating too heavy, so there's not normally big heavy dishes like potatoes and that sort of thing. The indigenous people of New Zealand were called Māoris. They have an in-ground oven, they dig a hole, light coals, and cook their food in there traditionally on Christmas Day, and it's called a hongi. And I personally have never done this. I've never tried fruit from a hongi, but it is done on Christmas Day by people at marae's and all sorts of things like that. So there are different sides to this as well. There is also normally desserts, and a very popular Christmas dessert here are meringues and pavlova, which are basically just egg whites and sugar baked, and then they're served with cream and fresh fruits. I don't eat these anymore, and I never was a big fan of pavlova. However, meringues, I do quite like meringues, and I tried some aquafaba ones this year, which were really, really good, but I still cannot find a good whipped cream, so it was very coconutty. I don't mind it, I'm kind of getting used to it, but a lot of people are like, no, I don't like coconut cream, so each to their own. But normally, sometimes when you whip aquafaba, you can taste the aquafaba and the earthy taste. I couldn't taste it this time, so I was very happy about that. I'll post, there's a little video of our own family Christmas and some of the food desserts we had, which I will put up. You can see it while I'm talking. Yeah, we didn't do a pavlova this year, but we did have some other desserts. My mum did a meringue wreath. Half of them were egg-free meringues and half of them were not. And then there were some other desserts, some brandy baskets. Those are very delicious too. Now I can talk about my family Christmas a little bit, just to give you an idea of what happened for me. It's recently been. So to begin with, me and Connor do not live with my family anymore. However, I worked Christmas Eve, and then as soon as I finished, we drove to my parents' place and spent the night there. We did this because in my family it's a tradition to have a Christmas breakfast. We normally, before we open gifts, it's normally like crepes, waffles, pancakes, something like that, something special that we don't always have. And there's normally like cream, fruit, all sorts of sweets, and it's a good time. It's a nice time to spend with family, and I enjoy chopping up the fruits and helping my mum in the kitchen in the morning. So that's what happened. We had crepes this year, and then we opened gifts, and then around 9-10 o'clock normally, depending on high tide is, we take down the paddle boards to the estuary, and which is like 5 minutes away from our house, from my parents' house, and we paddleboard for a good hour or two until we're bored of it, and then we head home and chill out by the pool outside, just spend time together and have a good time until we have lunch, obviously. Then we have our lunch, which is a hot ham, rolls, or that sort of thing, salads, anything like that. And then for dinner, Connor and I went to his parents' place, but my parents just normally have leftovers, so whatever's left over from the ham, leftover salads, all that sort of stuff they eat, because it's quite a big day of eating. And I have to say, I ate a lot on Christmas Day, but I don't regret it at all. It was all good food. And then, oh, my mum surprised me with this vegan faux ham turkey chicken thing. If I can find a photo, I will definitely put it up. I actually really enjoyed it. I took this to Connor's parents because they are not it's not that they're not supportive, they're not as well catered for I guess, me being vegan. So I just had some roast potatoes and they did a roast chicken or a turkey, I don't remember, and vegetables. I don't have any footage of this, but yeah, I have mixed feelings about it, but overall it was a good night and I'm glad I went. They had different desserts as well. They had a trifle, which is quite popular here as well, which is like custard, jelly, sponge, cream, all that sort of stuff, which I didn't touch. But I just wanted to mention that it doesn't matter where you spend your Christmas. In my opinion, as long as you're spending time with family or friends, or you're having a good time, you're happy, that's all that matters. And it's the time of the year that people rely on each other, and honestly it's the time of the year people have off, and for some people like me it's one of the few times you actually get to see your extended family. So I say make the most of it, no matter where you are. It doesn't matter what season it is, and just have a good time. Yeah, that is how we celebrate Christmas in New Zealand, and it is a summertime Christmas as well. It's obviously quite different to a winter Christmas, and I hope you've enjoyed me ramble on about it, and I hope I wasn't too boring. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Comment down below if you've enjoyed this type of video, and if you enjoyed my content, please subscribe. Peace out, and see you next week. Next time.
Late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.